Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Cho and today I will be making a tutorial video for the Formlabs 1 Plus here at the Makerspace. I'm currently at the Forge Makerspace, and what I do here is I work for a company called Long Vision. Most of my work involves prototyping, designing, and 3D printing, and we do a lot of 3D printing to test my prototypes, and I am here all the time. I basically live here. So I really wanted to make a tutorial video for everyone out there so that it's a lot easier to use the Formlabs 1 Plus, because it is intimidating at first because it's not the same as the general FDM printers that a lot of people might be used to, or you're completely new to 3D printing itself. So I'll be walking through the step-by-step process from beginning of how to get your print set up and then to finishing the product and actually having that 3D print in your hands. So here we go. Alright, so getting started with the Formlabs 1 Plus. So when you come in, there's probably going to be a resin tank in here, but for the purpose of demonstrating, I am going to have it removed so that I can show you guys the step-by-step process of setting up. So when you get to Formlabs 1 Plus, make sure it's on so that it is on for you to use. The lid opens like so. The top here is the build plate. So the way this printer works is not like the regular FDM. This build plate goes down into the resin tank here, and the UV laser hardens the resin and it actually builds on top of this and it extrudes it from the resin. It's really cool. To remove this build plate up here, there is a lever top here that flips up like so. And then you pull it towards yourself and it slides out like that. It's very easy. You don't have to force anything. As you can see right now, the build plate's very clean. You can see it shining. There's a lot of scratches because it adheres really well to this bed. So when you remove it, I'll be showing you that step-by-step process as well. So to put it back, it's the reverse order. You just have to slide it back in. Make sure it's slided all the way in, and then you just flip that back. Now the build plate's on there. You can check by shaking it. It's not going anywhere. So now with the resin. So there's specific resin left for the Formlabs 1 Plus. And depending on what kind of resin you put in, you have to make that setting changes on the computer. So to put the resin tank in, when you select your resin tank, I'll be showing you guys where the resin tanks are stored. You just have to slide it in. So this is the resin tank. You can see the holding points that I have. It's a bit more different from the front, and the front has a line that basically shows you how full the resin should be for a full potential print. And to put this on the Formlabs 1 Plus, you basically slide it in. It's like a rail. Get it out of the way. You place it on like that, and then you push with your thumb on both sides, and it clicks into place like that. So then the lid could come off. So the lid's here so that it doesn't have any other materials that mix with the resin, and it keeps the resin clean, making sure that our prints are clean as well. So now that the tank is open, now you can fill up the resin to the specific line so that it's full, and when you finish that process, you close the lid, and now it says ready to print. When you come into the Makerspace, the Formlabs 1 Plus is going to be right there, and on this side, right beside the laser engraver, you're going to find a drawer that's labeled Formlabs Resin. So this is where all the resins are stored and most of the tanks are stored. For this demonstration, I'll be using this black FLGP BK04. This is the version for the newest black resin, and I haven't had any failures with that, so that's the one that I will be demonstrating. Alright, so anytime you're working with resins, make sure you have gloves on because these are very hard to get off, and the only way to get them off really clean is by using isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol dissolves the resin and it basically gets rid of them for you. It's kind of like soap, but you don't want to do that with your hands. You can't just wash your hands with isopropyl alcohol, so make sure you wear gloves. So I have my gloves on. Now we're going to be filling the tank up to that line with this resin here. This resin basically works like the soap. So you click it, and it opens up, and then you just have to squeeze the bottle in. Alright, so that now the resin's filled up to the line. Now we can close the lid, and it's ready to print. So after you set up your Formlabs 1 Plus, make sure that your build plate right here is super clean. Make sure nothing's on it so that it has a nice print bed area for the prints to happen. Make sure your resin tank is full. Make sure the lid is off. And another thing is to check that the resin is at the correct fill amount. You can see the line here. And make sure you don't overfill it, because what happens is that the bed plate actually comes down, and if you overfill it, it will spill outside, and that'll be a very, very bad day. So when you come in, make sure you come in either with a memory stick, or you could access your files online, Google Drive or Fusion via Share, and you're going to be clicking on this butterfly icon right here. So this is a part that I currently have loaded, and the process here is a bit different depending on what kind of part you have. For example, the part that I have is quite an interesting shape. It's not a regular shape that's very easy to 3D print technically. But to go through the whole function here, down here you have print settings, and the printer we currently have is called Educator Cobra. That's just the name it's given. Material, black version, this is where you choose your material, and then you choose your resolution, 0.1, 0.05, 0.025. And 0.025 is the layer thickness, and that's the highest resolution, and 0.1 is the thickest, and which is the lowest resolution that this printer can support. So after you change your settings, you click apply, and there's the buttons here. So the main buttons that are very important are these guys: one-click print, the orientation changing, and generating structure support. So this one-click print allows you to click it once, and it will orientate the shape in a certain way that the printer thinks is the best way, and it will generate a structure for you. And if that was to fail, then you're supposed to manually generate the supports using the supports here, generate selected, and it will select and generate a structure for a specific part. And what happens is that after you go through that process, it will give you this printability check mark here. So this check mark means good. When this is check marked, it means that this print is going to happen flawlessly. There shouldn't be any errors in software, and it should be perfectly fine. But there's times where it will say show minima, and it will have like notification kind of like 1, 2, or 3. And I'll probably put a link down to a tutorial video towards just the software used, because it is pretty difficult at first when you don't understand how this printer works. And for me, it was kind of like a trial and error, but I'm sure there's better tutorials out there for you. So if there were to be minimas, you would have to edit and select your actual support system itself. So here you can edit your support, and those white dots represent each part of the support. You could add support by clicking, and you basically click apply. So for me, this is ready to go. I double checked that the Formlabs 1 Plus is ready to go as well. And to print, you click this yellow button right here, and then you'll be prompted this screen, and now you press upload job. So now it's calculating, it's connected to the Formlabs 1 Plus. Right here you'll say build platform, tank and resin, press to conform. So this is where you check the bed, check the resin, make sure it's filled up, and when it's good, you press the button, and now it's preparing to upload. So what it does is it uploads the files onto the Formlabs 1 Plus, and when that's done, the build plate is going to come down, go into the resin, and start printing. As you can see here, the build plate's coming down. So the build plate actually submerges into the resin, and what happens is that when you overfill the resin, this build plate will make it overfill from the whole tank. As you can see here, there's still lots of room left so it doesn't overfill. But what happens is that the tank tilts in order for there to be no air bubbles or air pockets within the build plate and the resin itself. So it actually tilts, and sometimes it can be danger close if you overfill the tank. So this is basically the whole setup. Now it's all ready to go. You can see the job hook 2 was the file name, and this is going to take 21 hours and 57 minutes and 46 seconds, which is a very, very, very long time. And it's because it has the highest resolution and it's a pretty big print. So I will see you in a day. Alright, so the print is finally done. I'm going to show you guys how to remove the print. Make sure you're wearing gloves like me here. There's going to be a lot of resin, so you don't want to get that on your hands. To remove it, you lift up the cover. And same thing, you lift up the lever at the back here, and then after you lift up the lever, you pull forward, and boom, you got your print. As you can see, there's still resin left on the print bed. That's why we're wearing gloves, and I'll show you guys how to remove this from the bed. Alright, so we're at the Formlabs wash station. So there's two containers containing isopropyl alcohol. This one is the darker one because we put it in here first initially, and then we do the final wash on this, the right container. You can definitely tell which one is the initial one because as you can see, this is a lot darker already, whereas this one is a lot clearer. So we're going to dunk it in here first, removing the print from your print bed. Make sure you use a tool, just scrape at the bottom and it pops off like that. As you can see, there's a lot of structure left. What I usually do is dunk it in the isopropyl alcohol first, get rid of the resin, but because this is a huge print with a lot of structure, I'm going to take that off first and then I'm going to dunk it into isopropyl alcohol. So this is the final print. I removed the supports. Now we're going to submerge it in isopropyl alcohol. Make sure you put it in the dirty one first, and then we're going to move to the next one. So initially this is going to go in for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to move to the cleaner container, and then we're going to leave it in there for another 5 to 10 minutes. While you're doing this, you can clean up, get the Formlabs prepped for the next print, and yeah. Alright, to clean the Formlabs print bed here, you can see there's still a lot of resin left. I usually get some paper towel and then just wipe it off. And that usually gets rid of it really well. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to put the build plate back on the Formlabs, lift the lever up, slide it in, and then lever down. And it's good. Alright, so the print has been in here for 5 minutes. We're going to be moving it over to the cleaner container. Try to drip as much of it off, and then move. Alright, so this marks the end of the tutorial for using Formlabs 1 Plus. You just have to let it harden with UV rays, which comes from natural sunlight. You just have to let it sit. I usually let it sit for a day or so, and yeah, that is all. So if you ever get stuck while using the Formlabs 1 Plus, there is a checklist behind here. Formlabs 1 Plus operation checklist. Make sure you check that out, or go online and you can find lots of resources and help on there as well. I'm going to put a couple of them in my description. I'm going to put a couple links that can help you out to using the software, and a couple resins or different types of materials that you can look at that Formlabs 1 Plus is capable of using. So that marks the end of our tutorial video. I hope this helped walk you through the whole process of using the Formlabs 1 Plus, and thank you so much for watching the video.